Max Jones in Melody Maker magazine, one of the English music journals, wrote, if we talked about Joe Turner like we talk about the two Sonny Boy Williamsons, I suppose we would have to call the piano-playing Joe Turner number one, as distinguished from the singing Joe Turner of Wee Baby Blues fame. Joe Turner on the scene at La Calvados in Paris, France, not too far from the Champs-Élysées. Joe, we were talking the other night about some of the men that you associated with in jazz, and who were some of the most remarkable impressions in your memory. Who are the people that influenced you?
Well, I can truthfully say that one that influenced me most was Fats Waller and James P. Johnson. And the one who helped me the most was Benny Carter. Because when I played in Benny Carter's orchestra for 3 years, he helped me musically more than I could ever have imagined. And in fact, it used to be a saying that when you played in Benny Carter's orchestra, you had to be a number one musician. And he has turned out more good musicians than anyone that I have ever known. He's the most underrated genius of our time. I call him a genius because not only did he play several instruments, but he helped his musicians. And he was never the one who was very, shall we say, hard with his musicians. If there was a passage or something in the arrangement that you didn't do well, he would smile and say, man, take it to the shed. And you would be ashamed to come back the next night without knowing it. Because the next day you would go to the shed and you would come back with it correct. And I must say, because of Benny Carter, I progressed 1,000% in my playing and ideas in the world of jazz.
How else would you describe Benny Carter? He certainly was and is today one of the most versatile of musicians, doing scores for film, not playing as much, I suppose, as he used to, except in perhaps recording soundtracks. But as a human being, how would you describe Benny Carter?
As a human being, he was number one, a gentleman. Number two, a genius in music. And his arrangements were superb.
I remember now you mentioned Fats Waller. And yes. Just how does Fats figure in your history and influence?
Well, number one, Fats Waller was the closest friend I ever had in my life. And I've seen him drink whiskey as though it was going out of style, but I've never seen him drunk. He was always the jolly fellow of our times. And he was the same on or off stage. Fats Waller was the greatest human being I've ever known in my life, I can truthfully say.
Joe Turner, a pleasure hearing you describe the character of Benny Carter and of Fats Waller. I know you're on call to go on stage,
yes.
So we'll stand by here and talk with you a little bit later.
Beautiful.
Joe Turner from La Calvados here in Paris, France. And it is April in Paris, and the jazz influences in this very slick bistro can be heard ever so slightly between and among the scotch, the martinis, the wine, and the brandy. And this is Leigh Kamman via the Champs-Élysées and 40 Avenue Pierre, the Premier des Sœurs.